So I was able to get my entire family to watch this one. And there's someone behind the camera.
Hello?
Okay. Though it never seems to get less tragic, there appears to be more and more news of fatal shootings to the point where it is sadly almost common. Would it surprise you if someone told you that 15,000 people were fatally shot in America alone last year? This is in existing statistics and doesn't even include suicides. The number of dangerous and fatal incidents involving guns is entirely too high for Americans to feel secure and protected when they should be guaranteed safety in their country. In this speech, I will present to you the dangerous situations that have occurred in America and what the United States will face if we proceed with this lack of strong gun control. This is a personal great interest of mine because I attend public school, an institution in which the numbers of shootings have rocketed in recent years. I have been passionate about this topic for a while and have looked into many facts, statistics, alternatives, debates, and more. Hear me out on the point that everyone has relevance to gun violence. Anyone could possibly be in the wrong place at the wrong time with the wrong person carrying a gun. Foremost, let me get back to that statistic I mentioned earlier. An article written by Daniel Nass, Gun Deaths in 2019, published by The Trace, provides the fact that at least 15,292 people were fatally shot in 2019. 3,771 were children under 18. The Trace also provides numbers that entail incidents that aren't always fatal. The collective number of the shooting incidents turned out to be 30,000 in 1 year alone. Additionally, I looked into a website called Every Town for Gun Safety. While a large number of deaths caused by guns were homicide, look at this chart and notice that 13,380 were homicide, a small percentage were unintentional deaths, shooting by law enforcement or undetermined, and 22,926 were deemed suicides. It is quite possible that a number of these people who committed suicide would still be alive if they hadn't had access to guns. Now that these statistics are known, let me propose this question. Are these numbers not high enough to initiate some sort of action taken by the government and society? Though these numbers and statistics of deaths and damage are intimidating, there is more harm than just that. The mental health toll that gun violence has caused is heartbreaking. The American Psychological Association provides information regarding long-term effects of experiencing shootings. The APA lists multiple mental health issues caused by shootings: PTSD, anxiety, substance abuse, restlessness, and more. Families suffering the aftermath are left to deal with an unbearable amount of pain. Here's a video provided by the Guardian News on YouTube of a mother grieving over her son who was fatally shot and her take on gun control. Once again, I'll edit it.
My name is Susan Orfanos. My son was Tel Orfanos. We lost him last night at the borderline shooting. My son was in Las Vegas with a lot of his friends and he came home. He didn't come home last night, and I don't want prayers. I don't want thoughts. I want gun control, and I hope to God nobody else sends me any more prayers. I want gun control. No more guns. Thank you.
Now let's watch that again and imagine that you are either that woman or that woman is your mother.
My name is Susan Orfanos. My son was Tel Orfanos. We lost him last night at the borderline shooting. My son was in Las Vegas with a lot of his friends and he came home. He didn't come home last night, and I don't want prayers. I don't want thoughts. I want gun control, and I hope to God nobody else sends me any more prayers. I want gun control. No more guns. Thank you.
So as you can see, though what this woman wants is attainable, it does not change the fact that if action would have been taken sooner regarding gun control, it does not change the fact that Susan Orfanos' son is not with her. So far, it appears that lack of gun control has caused some devastating situations and saddening numbers. Let me get into how Americans give up many personal liberties for public safety. So there are a number of things Americans aren't allowed to do or items we can't own to maintain general public safety. USA.gov has a list of laws and regulations. Let me inform you of some. People under 21 aren't permitted to ingest alcohol. This is for their well-being. There's also information about prohibited use of drugs in some states and underage people for the safety of the public and other citizens. Another example of restraints is roads having speed regulations. We give up getting places sooner to protect ourselves and others. So what I'm saying is there are all these little sacrifices we make to keep ourselves safe, which brings me to my main point. So, after hearing all this devastating information, doesn't it sound like something needs to be done? Here's a proactive idea that has been floating around for a while. The government needs to ban guns so that the average man can't walk around with one. No one except police officers and other safety officials should be allowed to own or carry guns in public. Let me tell you why this needs to be done. As of now, a person who has never committed a crime but intends to could easily acquire a gun by passing a background check and use it for the intent of violence or murder instead of the safer intended use of self-defense. Also, right now, many people are using gun shows as a way to circumvent these background checks. Guns are way too accessible. If officials were to ban guns, gun violence in the United States at the very least would be mitigated. The federal government has an obligation to spread awareness to citizens and make sure it is known that gun violence is preventable and can lessen such a trauma in the community. In addition to the government banning guns and spreading awareness, other members of the United States, such as educators, community members, and society can play a role in the amelioration of gun violence in America. Society can actually play a large role in reducing gun violence by supporting their friends, family, and peers. People who commit mass shootings often feel alone, depressed, anxious, or angry. More frequent check-ins on a friend's, family's, or student's mental health can potentially prevent a person who is unwell from acting out. Members of the community can also trust that they are being protected by police and other safety officers and not carry a gun with them. Additionally, teachers and business leaders could collab to prevent economic opportunities to people as alternatives to using guns for crimes. With economic security, there would most likely be a decrease in the armed crimes. Now, some people disagree that banning guns wouldn't do anything at all. Some people may argue that even if guns were to be banned, people would find a way to illegally obtain them. However, the Washington Post provides information that out of 242 mass shooters' guns, only 61 was obtained illegally. While this number is still high, it is a sincere improvement from 252. More importantly, 181 obtained their guns legally, which means that they passed the background check, confirming that they were safe and stable enough to own a gun. Once the math is done, it appears that banning guns would prevent around 75% of gun violence. Citizens still find issues with gun control. Many people get worried when they hear about banning guns, and plenty of questions arise. The most popular one being, how am I supposed to protect myself? That's when the alternatives to keeping people safe come in. Instead of allowing a large number of people to carry a gun, public places could instead be heavily secured with officers who were armed. People like officers, public resource officers, and security guards. There are even alternatives to using guns by allowing police and citizens to use non-lethal weapons, such as mace, tasers, or batons, and more. So as I close my message to you all, I hope in some way I made you aware of what gun violence has done to America and what can be done to help. I will now leave you with this poem by Dora Malik regarding shootings, specifically in schools. Nothing happened here, meaning it was done. Over counts itself among the studied synonyms, but beyond those round mouths opening for answers, done is the opposite of over. What is the sum when you add cut flowers into cellophane to teddy bears and prayers, and the difference when you take away and take away and take away? Show your work, attend to precision. The students are gone. It is not summer. The classroom snake that flooded shattered tank, the long shadows draping themselves over the overturned desk, and the red pen fallen to the floor will count as symbols on a different test. Thank you.